All right, guys, the watch list for September 1st, Thursday. The SPY still in a range, a couple little bottoming tails here, so it seems to be finding support down here in this area. And we have a 3-day weekend coming up. Markets closed on Monday, so you can really tell it in the market that things are just kind of choppy and there's not a lot of direction. So trade smaller. I always say that until we get the holiday behind us. SPU. Huge move today. And I got several messages on StockTwits and Twitter giving me props for having this on watch for today and how I nailed it. And I hate to say this because I might break down crying while making this video. I hate to say this part even more. I saw this thing when it looked like this 10 minutes into the session, narrow range, and considered calling this out. Like, hey guys, an opening range break on a recent high flyer. It's one of my favorite setups. And you knew I had it on watch. And then boom, it just went without me. I missed it. I didn't catch it. I didn't get anybody in it. People in the room were in it, but not on my call, and I totally missed it. And that's hard to swallow. But what a massive move there. Great setup. Anyway, because it's moving so big, and it's a very tough trader, but because it had such a big move, I've got to watch it tomorrow and Friday. So let's see here. So that's SPU. I'm going to have it on watch, but certainly don't want to join the group of chasers. VUZI was kind of a nasty trader today. And again, I think it's a lot of it is just the volume out there. Because you can see this it looks like an errant tick. No, it really did. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Yeah, it really traded down that far to go back up and close near the highs. That's just nasty action. If it gets over today's high, it might make a move at these recent highs. So I'm not in love with it. THLD, no trades in it today, but it's kind of hanging on in this region. To me, this is poised for a rip higher. I'm just going to have it on a chart. Doesn't cost me anything to have these on charts. ROKA, big move, but gave some of it back. Might get a red to green, something like that tomorrow, so I want to watch that one. GNC, a nice pop off this consolidation down here today. Looking for a follow-through day in that one tomorrow. NYMX. Remember, guys, I'm a day trader, so I'm looking for ways to make money tomorrow. None of these are swing trade ideas. I don't hold anything overnight. NYMX is down, 4 days in a row, something like that. It is finding buyers down here, so it just goes back on Bounce Watch. That is NYMX. No trades in it today. RIGL goes on Bounce Watch. You had the gap up and a rip, and then today, now what I don't like about this is that it basically round tripped this huge move, except for you had the gap. So if you picture it moving from 260 to 4, then you've got a partial retrace. So when you switch to 15s, I don't know, it still looks bad. I like them a lot less when they retrace a big chunk of the gains. So keep that in mind. But it did it on much lower volume. So this one might, it might pull an SPU and turn up big again tomorrow. Remember, SPU had the big move and then the partial retrace. This one is a little bit different. And it's not as low of a float either. So anyway, it doesn't cost me anything to have it on charts, so I will. ATMR had this really nice move and then a partial retrace. I don't know anything about this thing, but I'm going to watch it. TOPS had a big move here and then a nice secondary move, and now it's down like 4 or 5 days in a row back to where it bounced off of last time. So we'll see if the shippers can't catch a bid tomorrow. That one goes on watch. Macy's, I like to have at least 1 or 2 really beaten up stocks on watch for a bounce the next day. If they give me a proper intraday setup, I might catch a trade in them. Macy's, a pretty good sized candle, pretty good volume into the 50-day. So that one might catch a bounce tomorrow. A lot of times, sellers get a hold of something on an intraday basis and the sucker just can't bounce, and then you catch a nice bounce the next day. So I'm going to have it on a chart. USG, had a nice pop here and then 2 days down right back to support. Decent setup for a bounce, but at the same time, you also have the longs that jumped in here. Your investor types are maybe ready to give up. I don't know. That's kind of a nasty turn of events, but it is back down to support. Not in love with this one, but it's another one that is worth watching for a potential bounce. CRK is really holding up well. You had this nice pop, a little bit of a lower high, and it's really holding up well. Double check, but I'm pretty sure this is in the oil and gas. It says independent oil and gas. So it does have a low float, 9.6 million. Oil, I use USO to gauge oil, and oil is kind of rolling over, so makes me like that a little bit less, but you got to like the relative strength. JYNT got a nice pop 2 sessions ago, and it's kind of coiling and really showing some strength. This one might rip and make a move for that 200 day one of these days. So that one goes on watch. And then OSUR is my last one. This thing, after a nice move, is actually a couple days down, but holding up pretty well. That's the list I'm going to start with, and we will add gappers in the morning. Hopefully we can find something gapping. It's been pretty dead in pre-market, but again, that's because we're late August, now early September tomorrow, but heading into a holiday weekend. So this is the time of year where you lower your expectations and you lower your position size. I had my lowest profit in probably 2 months, but I wouldn't be saying that if I'd have caught that SPU, right? So it only takes one. So if you've got a good list and you can catch a nice trade in one, then you don't, even if the market's lousy, you don't feel like the market's lousy. So I was green today, but my lowest profit probably in 2 months. It's been a while since I had a less than stellar day, because the market and the teamwork in the chat room have been fantastic. So anyway, I'm going to leave the list at this, and enjoy the rest of your evening. I will talk to you tomorrow.